is to discuss the importance of speech evaluation and how to present them. The title of the speech is Evaluate to Motivate. Let us now welcome our future Advanced Leader Bronze, Angela Stewart.
Sharon's a little bit way down here, my eyes. Has anyone ever benefited from an effective speech evaluation?
Sure.
I knew everybody was going to say yeah to that because everybody benefits from an effective speech evaluation, especially if the speaker doesn't bloviate. Evaluating each other or effective speech evaluations helps everybody involved. First of all, it helps your audience because it gives them an opportunity to see an example of a speaker as well as an evaluator. It helps the evaluator because he or she has to become a better listener to do the job well as practice their impromptu speaking skills. But most of all, it helps the speaker. First of all, it provides positive, supportive commentary to what was said that they receive immediately, as well as to point out areas that they could improve. It also offers methods for improvement. And one of the best ways to improve on something is to see it from a different perspective. And usually your evaluator can give you a different perspective and point out things to you that you would notice about yourself you never would have noticed. But lastly, and most important, an effective evaluation should actually build your self-esteem, make you feel good, should make you a better speaker, and make you want to keep on speaking. Now, in Toastmaster, we use what we call the tell and sell approach, which is simply telling. The evaluator gets up and says what he or she felt about the speech. However, that allows the speaker to listen and be able to focus on what the evaluator is saying. It allows the meeting to stay on time because you don't get lost in a lot of discussion. It's always so pleasant when you smile, Sharon. And new members should wait until they've done a couple of speeches before they even try to evaluate, until they've been evaluated a couple of times to get a good example of it. Evaluations is a very good way to show off your Toastmaster skill as well as to improve them. And different people have different styles, so evaluations would be different. But there are three basic points that any evaluator should adhere to. First of all, before the speech, you should speak to your speaker. You should find out what his or her objectives are, what they hope to do. You should find out what their overall goals are. And most of all, you should find out what are your areas of concern, what is it you know you need to work on, and mostly how can I help you be a better speaker. During the speech, the first most important thing is to act real interested. There's nothing more discouraging than to look out and your evaluator is looking out, not at you. Always put yourself in the position of the speaker and realize how it must feel to be up there and trying to communicate that information with all those eyes looking at you. Lastly, be sure to make notes on what the speaker did well as what the speaker didn't do well. During the evaluation, the verbal part of your evaluation is usually the most important. And because that is most important, it's most important that you choose the right words. You never want to use words like you shouldn't have, or you failed to, or you didn't. You want to keep it on a positive note. Yeah, yawning, Brian, and I'm talking. You want to keep it on a positive note. You want to use words that's going to stimulate improvement. I believe. My reaction was, I felt that. And that way, even if you're saying something that may not be positive, it can still be received in a manner that will still uplift the person and make them better. Keep your evaluator's mantra in mind. The whole time you're doing evaluation, you should be thinking about what you thought, what you saw, what you felt during the speech. You always must be sure to evaluate the speech and not evaluate the person. And in your evaluation, you are really looking for the self-improvement goals that they told you that they were trying to reach and during their speech. So you can point out areas in which you can help them meet them, or even better, areas that they need to get to meet them. Look for signs of nervousness, insecurity. Usually we don't notice that about ourselves, just like we don't notice our personal speech glitches. All of that has to come from the evaluator, so keep that in mind, because that's what we need from you as speakers. Be sure to watch what the speaker does and not who the speaker is. And in doing your evaluation, it's most important. It has nothing to do with the person that's speaking. It has everything to do with what the person is speaking, and you definitely want to keep that separation in there. It's also important to encourage a speaker so that he or she will keep on speaking. If you give a bad evaluation and bust that spirit, they're going to be less likely to get to their next speech. So you always want to give something that's going to inspire them and keep them participating, keep them coming back. Because the more you inspire them, the more they come back, the better we get, and the better you get, actually. You always want to give honest, sincere praise. Now, I don't care how bad the speech is. There is something you can find to praise that person about, even if it's that you did a wonderful job making it to the lectern. There's always something, and that's most important, that you find that something and you give it to them. We be needing it as speakers. You always want to look for positive reinforcements and improvements. I notice you didn't say as much. I notice you're not rocking as much as you used to. Any improvement that you've seen in the speaker currently or previously, that's always good, and you always want to include that in your evaluation. And you want to give helpful directions when necessary. For example, your speech might have been a lot better, Angela, if you'd have had visuals. You know, something that's going to help them has nothing to do with the speech I did, but it would have been better if. That's the kind of thing you want to always give in an evaluation. And most important, you want to always end your evaluation on a positive note, because usually your final note is what the speaker is going to leave feeling in their spirit about your evaluation. This last part is going to be a little hard, and a lot of us do it because we have such excellent speakers in our club. However, an evaluation should never be all praise. Now, don't misunderstand. I've tried to evaluate. When we deal with these people, some of these speakers in this club, it is hard to find something constructive to criticize. However, as an evaluator, that's your job. Because if you only give a praise evaluation, the speaker feels real good, everybody's flattered, la 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 la. However, if it keeps up continually, you really do demoralize the spirit of the club and of the evaluation. It is important to always be encouraging. It is important to always be positive, but it is also important to find some way to tell that person to improve, because none of us are